I want to start this video off by saying that this is not the usual country humans or history video I make, and this is more of a religious topic. And I understand if someone's uncomfortable or not interested in the topic, and thus, if you don't want to hear this, you're totally free to click off the video. With that being said, I'll continue on with the story. Do the Ashura, the 10th of Muharram is tomorrow, and I feel like this needs to be said because a lot of people don't know what this is. Imam Hussein, otherwise known as Hussein ibn Ali, was born on 11th January 626 AD. He was the grandson of the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ through his daughter Fatima al-Zahra and his companion Ali ibn Abu Talib. Throughout his childhood, he was described as a caring person, someone who was loving and caring towards the individuals he truly cared about. The Prophet Muhammad ﷺ has also said to have deeply loved him. When the Prophet used to go into prayer, he would let a Hussein ride on his back as a form of playing. He would also let Hussein ride on his shoulders whenever he walked. And in a famous narration said by the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, it is said that whoever loves Hussein loves me, and whoever hates Hussein hates me. This goes to show how much the Prophet actually loved and adored Hussein, and this does nothing but except make the later tragedy even more tragic, but that's for later. Hussein was someone who, according to Shia belief, who criticized the expulsion of Ali by Abu Bakr and the other four caliphs, but that's not what the topic of this video is. Hussein will later go on to become an Imam, which is kind of similar to a priest for those who don't know, but he would go on to become a scholar and Imam, which would later prove to be a very inspiring role and would grant him in the position of one of the 12 Imams. Upon the ascension of the Umayyad Caliph Muawiyah, the Muslim world was split into two, the Sunnis and the Alids, which later turned into the Shias. The Sunnis believed that Abu Bakr's claim to the caliphate was rightful and that he wasn't in the wrong, but the Alids believed that Ali should have been the first caliph and that his right was taken away from him. But the point I'm trying to make is that Muawiyah's reign was marked by instability, but I'm not going to talk about Muawiyah's reign as that's a topic for another day. What I will talk about is the policy that started this whole kerfuffle, being the appointment of Yazid ibn Muawiyah, his son, as the caliph, which went against the tradition of Shura, which was the caliph being elected by the people and not the people, the scholars and such, and the elective body, and Yazid wasn't very popular. He was popular in the Sham region, aka Palestine, Syria, and modern day Iraq, but he was not popular in Najd, Hijaz, and Bahrain. The holy cities of Mecca and Medina did not trust him, and thus he sent out an army to sack Mecca and destroy the Kaaba slightly. This had caused his popularity and piety to go down, and some even declared him as a kafir. But that's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is that Hussein ibn Ali was one of these people who refused to take an oath, and the people of Kufa had actually sent out a letter to him asking for support in a rebellion against Yazid. And despite warnings and pleas for him not to go, he set out because he could not tolerate such injustice. People had asked him for help, and he was going to deliver it. Upon reaching Karbala, he was encircled and realized that this was a trap, that the people of Kufa had sold him out. And he realized that what was happening is that Yazid wanted him to surrender. Yazid did not actually did not want to kill him because killing the grandson of the Prophet was preposterous. But as the days grew out and more people died, the reality set in that someone will have to die, and it was Hussein who died. Amongst these people was a young child, an 11-month child, one of Hussein's children named Ali Ashgar ibn Hussein, who was dying of thirst, and Hussein brought him out and asked for a truce to get him some water. He was not reciprocated with kindness. Instead, an arrow hit Ali's neck, killing him. Hussein, devastated, dug the grave of Ali with his own hands, and after days of suffering, he too was killed. Him and his companions beheaded and put on pikes. And this was the fitna that broke the camel's back. Yazid's popularity plummeted down southwards violently, and the Sunni-Shia split happened. An irreversible change, a scar that can never be healed. The second fitna had began as it concluded. I will keep this part relatively brief, as I feel like I've said already what I've needed to said, but today, Hussein stands as not just another Islamic figure, but as a symbol of justice across both Shia and Sunni Islam. In the Hagia Sophia of Turkey, there stands a mural inside erected for him. And as someone who's a devout Shia and follows the Ahlul Bayt and believes in the 12 Imams, I feel like we as a Ummah should learn more about these figures who shaped our world for us, who shaped our morals. We should remember Hussein as not someone who died violently, but someone who stood for justice and love, someone who was adored by the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam and was still denied by his own people. May we learn from his message and become a better Ummah, and that we as people become better.